Welcome to Expand Your Fempire with Caterina Rando, the podcast for women in business on a mission, sharing ideas to support you to grow, lead, and thrive. Now, here's your host, Caterina Rando.
Welcome back to another episode of the Expand Your Fempire podcast. This is your host, Caterina Rando, and I am blessing to be with you today. We have an amazing guest who I'm so excited to introduce you to, Samantha Buckley-Hugessen. She is a life coach for high-achieving women, which I know you are if you're listening to the Expand Your Fempire podcast. I want to introduce her to you. We want to get some guiding principles from Samantha about living great life as high-achieving women on a mission. Samantha, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. And I'm so happy to be with you. I adore you.
I adore you. Bing, bing. Samantha, you are a thriving woman in business. You live in Mexico, in Cabo. We've had guacamole in Cabo together.
You have.
You are living a great life, your dream life, with your beautiful husband, your beautiful children. How did you get from young gal to living a dream entrepreneurial life?
Young gal. So young gal married a raging alcoholic at 22 and abusive, yada, yada, yada. So young gal just got really good in business. And taking care of everybody and everything, right? And I think what happens for many of us high achieving women is that we take care of everybody and everything, and we tend to not take care of ourselves. And so I actually had to focus on me, not put my focus on everybody else. And in doing that, I started learning really great boundaries. I started getting in tune with what I would love to have in my life, and knowing that the stronger, and I don't mean stronger as I can take it, because that's what we all do. I got it. I can take it. Don't worry about it. I got it. Instead of going, I'm going to go ahead and not take that. These are my boundaries. I'm meant to live a beautiful, purposeful, yummy life. I deserve that, as do all of us, because we were born into this life with all the abilities in the world.
Sam, you say that we are all deserving of a yummy life, our best life. And, one of the things that I have seen, and one of the reasons why I like to talk about blissing in your business, is because a lot of women start businesses and they're thriving in the business part, but they're not necessarily thriving as a woman. And I want to hear from you, what are some of the things that you talk about with your clients, and how do you guide them and advise them, and what can we share with our listeners today to support them to bliss everywhere in their life?
Right. Such a great question. So I like to think of us as, cars or as tables. And I only say that because a car, for instance, let's say it has 4 cylinders, or a table has 4 legs. I mean, obviously there's different variations of that, but each cylinder, one is your love and your relationships. You gotta have this one firing. One is, of course, your business. One is going to be your health and well-being. And, so you have time freedom, you have money freedom, you have your career. I don't believe in balance, to tell you the truth. I think that balance is like, what, you don't either?
I hate the concept of balance. It's ridiculous because life is dynamic. Thank you, Sam.
You're welcome. Yeah, I don't believe in balance, but I do believe that you have to have all those cylinders firing. They all have to be working. If one shuts down, guess what? It's putting too much pressure on the other, and then the next one's going to shut down, and the next one's going to shut down. So that's why I'm a life coach. I've been in business working for other people. I'm 56, right? So I've been doing this since I was 16, as far as literally on my own, paying my own rent, business person, business woman. women like us, we need some love and support, and someone, as Laura has shared with us, because others have shared with her, we need someone to see our eyebrows for us. We can't see it ourselves.
Sam is referring to Laura Gisborne, who is a mutual friend of both of us. And we both are in Laura's Legacy Leader program. And Laura Gisborne has been interviewed on this podcast. And you can go to CaterinaRando.com/podcasts, and you can search for Laura, and her podcast interview will come up, which is very info packed. Okay, that was a little sidebar there.
Plug for our girlfriend. Love her so
Yes.
much, right?
Yes.
But it's such a great point, because as a coach, what happens is I really learned to ask great questions. I am an overperforming woman as well. I, for many years, was the breadwinner in our family.
Oh, my friend, I don't like to say over, I like to say high achieving, because I don't want to judge anybody's, I think that women, when we say overachieving, overperforming, we can talk about this, but I feel like, a lot of people say, oh, she's an overachiever, which is like saying, it's not okay to be a super successful woman, right? So yeah, so you can make a distinction here, because this is important to me, because I don't want women to feel like it's not okay to be successful either.
See, I think
you tell me, my friend.
No, this is good. This is good. I've never actually sat down and really thought about that.
Okay.
I come from a place, typically in my coaching of women, they overdo. In other words, they put way too much pressure on themselves. And so it's like, listen, you don't have to have the gas on or off. It's okay to kind of flutter the gas pedal, flutter the brake. It's fine. It's actually encouraged to not just put so much pressure on themselves all the time to overachieve. So yeah, I find that a lot of my clients don't give themselves grace. They never think they're doing enough.
Yes. Well, I think this part about pressure, let's talk about this, Samantha, because I know you did a successful event last week. We did our first ever Bliss Summit on Friday, which was phenomenal and fabulous. And it's so interesting, even though it's a virtual event, I do put pressure on myself. And, here's the truth. It's not my first rodeo, not my first virtual event. I could really do all this with one eye closed, one hand tied behind my back. But at the same time, there's still this pressure that seems to be there, maybe because I want everyone to get massive value. I want it to be successful. So I want to hang out right here, because this is something for me that is up for me. How do we not put pressure on ourselves? And what's the opposite of that, which I should be having attention on?
I'm not saying don't put pressure on yourself, because I hope you have butterflies and that you want to over deliver, right? And it's like my event that I just did. I've literally done that event 25, 30 times over the last decade. When it's hanging out with people and like me or don't like me, whatever, I'm going to deliver. So it's not about pressure. I think it has a lot to do with too much.
Too much what? Too much pressure?
Too much everything. Too much, I am going to get involved with the community. Too much, I have to do this for work. I have to do that for work. This person's count on me. And perfectionism is a problem. And I get it from almost all my women. So I'm going to tell you that perfectionism problem, which is married to procrastination, which then we create a lot of pressure and we put ourselves down often. I didn't do that good enough. I didn't do this. What's wrong? I know you are a giant calendarizer. Like, that's my made up word about it.
Yes.
So am I. But your calendar, I think, looks way fuller than mine. Even though
I don't got a problem with that. I don't have with a full calendar, because if it's not on the calendar, it's probably not going to happen. And also, me, I want time for connecting with people, for sales. And if that's not on the calendar, then something else will take its place. Yeah. But I also put days off on my calendar. I also put breaks on my calendar. As you know, I put my time with my workouts on my calendar. So yeah, everything's on the calendar, and a lot of it's good stuff to support me.
I think that's the point that we want to make, right? For anybody listening, is if you want to take some pressure off you, put it on your calendar. Get it off your head, off your shoulders. Don't worry about it because you know it's got its place and its time. You know, so many of us women wake up in the middle of the night, running through lists. I don't, but I know so many of my clients had. It's like you make an appointment with that in the morning, put it on your calendar, go back to bed, right?
A couple nights ago, I woke up and I was talking about we have to have an event. And that made me wonder, okay, am I having too many events if I'm thinking about events in my sleep? Now, Sam, I love this. Let's just get it on the calendar, give it a time, give it a space. Let's talk about related to this. You know, part of the reason we have pressure is that we are doing it all ourselves.
Yep.
And I'm a big believer in creating as much support in your personal life as you do in your business life. And when we say, you know, it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a village to run a high achieving woman's life too. Please share some of your thoughts about having support in your life.
Okay. So this is maybe going to directly answer it, or it's just, I'm going to share how I feel about it. The reason I have narrowed in on the niche that I am in is because I had a really, really hard year. I personally had a really hard year. And when you're at the top of your business, you're at the top of the family, you're at the top of the PTA, the kids, you know what I mean? This is what we do. We are women. We are wired to take care of stuff. We're wired, you know, to be multitasking and proactive. And yeah, I got that. That's one of the biggest things I discovered that I've done almost my whole life. Don't worry, I got it. Don't worry, I got it. I'll take care of it. Don't worry, I got it. Well, guess what? Who do I talk to? I realized, oh, I need somebody that can be my trusted counsel. I need someone that can be my business partner that I can mastermind with. These are all things that I've been learning working with legacy leaders. It's been things that I realized that it's not weak to ask for help and support, because I positioned myself in a place of taking care of everything. So many people, you know, just kind of like came to me because I said, I'll take care of you. I got you. That's why I realized that all of us at the top, we need this sisterhood. We need people to see our eyebrows because we can't see them ourselves. We need people to mastermind with. We need to be able to say, you know what, my partner is pissing me off. It's like, okay, let's hear it. Because if I'm your girlfriend, I'd be like, oh, yeah, they are. You need to break up with them. Let's go get martinis. You know, I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? I have nothing in the game except my client's success. And I've been doing it for a long time. You and I had some beautiful conversations up in Austin, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're girlfriend, high level, business, personal, you know, all those 4 cylinders of life. And I think we all need our person like that.
Talking about our life coach or
Yeah.
our life advisor or however, somebody like that. I 1000% agree, Samantha. And, you know, you made reference also to our hangout time in Austin, which was wonderful. And I recently came back from Colorado where I hung out with our friends and I gave a speech and then we hung out and we ate lemon meringue pie, which was really fun. And by the time we left the location, I said, my cup is full. It was really great. And I do want to say that one of the things I think is very important for the thriving woman in business, the woman with a fempire or building a fempire, is business girlfriends.
Yes.
Girlfriends that are your friends that also are like you having a business, because there is a big disparity. I also hung out recently with some friends that are not in business and they don't quite understand because they have jobs, you know, they go in 9 to 5, you know, it's very different. And so I want to encourage our listeners to make sure that they have some girlfriends that are business friends, because it is very enriching and cup filling to have some hangout time, not necessarily at a workshop or a seminar, some hangout time with your business girlfriends?
The conversations are very different. They're also, in my opinion, when you pick these people, your business girlfriends, it's a safe place. Because I'm going to be super transparent. I didn't want anybody to know what was going on with me because my job was to be there for them. Right? So I was depleting. And then I realized, okay, so my message is that we all have shit. Is that okay? We all have life. We're all wearing meat suits, and we might be extremely powerful in our business, but we're not doing so great in our personal life. Or people look at us and are in awe of our relationships or our health because we get up and meditate and work out and but we're crap at business. We need someone that sees us and supports us. And I love that word, support, love and support.
I do want to say, Samantha, that I don't meditate, and it's not that there's anything wrong with that.
I don't either.
Okay. But the reason I mention it is because sometimes people say, I get up, I work out, I meditate, I eat my fancy juice, I do intermittent fasting, which I do like. I get to bed by 8:00, and this schedule that is so challenging to try to achieve that I do want to say, however you're doing it, my friend, listener, is perfect. And if you want to pick one thing to upgrade, that's totally fine. Trying to do all the things that we know that we're supposed to do all the time is a big burden to carry. And I think that's part of why we sometimes feel like we're not good enough, because there's so many things we think we should be doing.
Yeah. We love to judge ourselves. And we also think that we're the only ones. And remember, I work with a lot of women one-on-one, and I get to hear everything, which I love, right? I love life coaching. I didn't start out as a life coach, by the way. I started out as a sales coach. But I want to back up for a second to what we were talking about, is where I commented on, okay, you do you. In other words, meditation or workout or fancy juices or whatever. In my book that came out in 2019, I actually have what's called a PIMP menu, powerful, important morning practice. And it's exactly to your words, Caterina. Words.
That's so funny.
I know,
Okay.
right? Get a pimp. Get it? Get a pimp.
Okay.
Powerful, important morning practice. And it's got a PIMP menu.
Love
And
it.
it's meant to change things up, and so it's got a menu of ideas, visualization or prayer or, whatever. And here's the thing, some people's cylinders are just like full on the self-care, but their business cylinder sucks, because we do what we like and we do what we know. That's human nature. We do what we like and we do what we know. It's also like we want to hang out with people that are like us, believe it or not. You know what I mean? That we're most comfortable in business. Typically, you'll find one of the mistakes in business, I believe, it's a mistake, is that we hire people like us. We need to hire people in their area of genius.
Well, yeah. And we also want to look at where are we, because I will say I consider myself super creative, not super organized, not detail oriented. And right now I'm looking for a new person to help me in my business. And I'm really looking for the person that is not like me. Okay. Let me ask you this. You have worked with so many high achieving women. What's one thing that you always want to make sure they have their attention on? What's one super tip for having more fulfillment in their life that you want to make sure we touch on?
Giving themselves grace. We're incredibly hard on ourselves. And I talk to women every day, and they are like amazing. And they often believe there's still not enough. And they often believe they're the only one that suffers from whatever it is, from disorganization or procrastination or working until midnight and getting back up at 4 and lack of self-care. Let me just tell you, sisters, you're not alone. And so maybe I want you to hear that. Maybe I want women to hear that. Is the reason I specialize in this niche is because we all have this in common. We all have it in common. So let's work through it. You're not alone. That's what makes women so yummy and so great. Want to hear a fun fact? Didn't really like women. Didn't really like them. Nope.
When you were younger, you're saying you didn't really like women.
Yeah, I started to welcome women into my life when I was 26. That was after the divorce, and when I did a ton of personal work, like years of personal focused work. Yeah, I didn't like them. And then even in my coaching, I had a lot of men, which is fine. And then I made a determination last year that, no, I love women. We're badasses. I love us. And we do everything, and we need love and support and a safe place. And I'm going to be that safe place for my women. There you go.
That's awesome. Sam, everyone I know is going to want to connect with you. How do they do that?
I would say the easiest one is my website. And so the website is a designed life, LLC.com. Super simple. I'm in all your other yummy places. You can find me on Facebook, and you can find me on Instagram, and you can find me in LinkedIn. But the website, you can fill out a work with Sam form, and then I will personally review it and get back to people.
Bing, bing, bing. Samantha, thank you so much for being on the Expand Your Fempire podcast. Thank you for shining the spotlight with us together on women not feeling like they got to do it all, taking pressure off themselves. And everybody, you absolutely can have a fulfilling life that works for you. Connect with Sam. She's awesome. You want her in your life. And this is Caterina Rando, thanking you for joining us for the Expand Your Fempire podcast. We got a lot to support you to sell more, serve more, uplift more lives, including your own. Love to you.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Expand Your Fempire with Caterina Rando.